Alright guys, only 30 seconds left. We might be winning by a lot now, but it's turf war, anything could happen. So let's keep it up. Yeah, we're gonna win! I want to start this off by saying I don't hate turf war. In fact, I'd say I don't mind it, but I'd rather play something else. Since the first game, and more recently in Splatoon 3, people are really questioning just how good turf war is. In terms of an idea or concept, I personally think it's brilliant. Fighting over turf using ink and specialized weapons and abilities, it's just fun. I mean, it's the base of the game for a reason. However, it has some fundamental problems, mostly coming down to a few notable points. One I see thrown around quite a bit is the time limit. You see, there's this mentality in turf war that only the last 30 seconds actually matter, and as much as I hate to admit it, it's just so damn accurate. A single player can cover the entirety of mid in about 20 to 30 seconds, so you can dominate an entire game and still lose because maybe you got cocky in the last bit of the game, or even because your team just didn't have the pain output. You can mechanically be better at the game, but still lose because that's just the nature of the mode, making it less of a skill issue and more of a mode-specific issue. Not to say that comp modes don't have problems, but that's for another video. Also, I just don't feel qualified to say anything about them because I haven't played as much comp recently. Also, turf war solo queues is just not fun 90% of the time because of this. It's a bad feeling for sure, but I do think turf war is a great beginner-friendly game mode. Really hammers home how to play the game properly. Though, what if there were more? What if Splatoon 3 had other non-competitive game modes? What could those be and why should they be that way? Well, I think I have a few ideas. Probably, I don't know. This one might be a bit on the nose, and it's a big toss-up in the Splatoon community if deathmatch type mode is even necessary. I mean, if you're killing people in turf war or even the comp modes, you should win, right? The fact that at the end of the day, dying in Splatoon can be pretty forgiving. At times, at least in turf war, where bouncing back from a wipe, especially in early game, is pretty plausible. It's really not that big a deal. Lord knows that I've been on a team that got wiped several times and still won because it's turf war. Also, side note, it probably wouldn't be called deathmatch. That doesn't feel very Nintendo-esque, if you will, or even Splatoon-esque. Maybe like Splatmatch or something along those lines. I'm sure the devs would think of something that's much better. So obviously deathmatch can't just play like a normal deathmatch. There needs to be some adjustments to fit Splatoon's gameplay. After some research, aka I just googled like 5 other shooters and gauged the totals, between 30 and 60 kills is the average amount needed to end a deathmatch. So with Splatoon being a game that honestly is super easy to die in, I think averaging out to about 40 to 50 kills is fair enough. I mean, I've gone well over 20 in turf wars, so I think this is a happy medium. I do think a potential problem for a deathmatch is just matches dragging on for way too long. So as much as I don't want to do it, I do think a 3-minute timer is kinda necessary. It could be longer than 3 minutes, but I do think that's pretty good. As for rules that'll make this unique to Splatoon, there will be a 3-minute timer. So matches don't drag on for eternity. I see you clicking off the video. Just give me the benefit of the doubt. I swear the other game modes are better thought through. The thing is, with a deathmatch mode, it is really hard to innovate without making an entirely different mode. Maybe that's why we don't have a proper deathmatch. The dev team might just find it boring or too bland for this type of game. Though, personally, I think the fact that it's Splatoon, an already unique shooter in terms of its movement and feel, is enough of a reason to make a deathmatch enticing. Though, maybe it's just me. I'll leave it up to you guys what you think, but now, let's get into the more fun modes. As a longtime Splatoon player, I gotta say, the competitive game modes can be damn terrifying and chaotic to a new player, especially considering most will experience these modes in frickin' solo queue. Oh god, poor souls. That being said, I think a casual game mode that better relays the more competitive nature of the other modes while simultaneously being its own thing would be great for newcomers. Or an awful idea, I don't know, I'm not a game designer, I'm just a silly slug with an insatiable bloodlust. Either way, what if we took Splat Zones and made it hell? Yeah, pretty good idea, huh? My thought for a fun twist on the King of the Hill type mode is to start off with Splat Zones. You cover a designated area with ink to score points. However, after a team hits 20 or more points, the Splat Zone rises up a level and becomes slightly smaller. This will continue for 5 layers up to a score of 80 where it'll peak, being pretty damn small at this point, maybe just enough to fit one whole team on top. My thought for this type of system is that it would increase a sense of chaos while still being both fun and more competitive than the likes of turf war. Alongside this, smaller zone size would make it much easier to turn the tide of battle. Winning is determined by one team reaching 100 points first, or having the most points within the time allotted. This does mean that there will be an overtime mechanic for this mode, which I think is fine. It gets casual players to see this mechanic in action, and gets them better prepared to see it in the comp modes. Though, I gotta say, with this being such a drastic deviation from Splat Zones and the mentality of Turf War, especially with overtime, it could be better off as a comp mode, and maybe overtime simply adds an extra 30 seconds back to the timer if done successfully. Just an idea. I don't think the timer is the best way to go. If you have a better idea to balance that, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear. Hide and seek, a staple of Splatoon YouTube at this point. Oh, the memories. I remember watching Skull TCG, Fires, Failboat, and a few other guys play that like ages ago. I wonder if Skull still makes videos. I know Fires and Failboat do. Oh, Failboat's been he's been popping off. Regardless, hide and seek with a few tweaks could be a wonderful casual mode for Splatoon 3. So this is once again kind of on the simpler side in terms of new mechanics, but I do think that a lot of things would need to be implemented to kind of better balance out this type of game mode, especially in a game like Splatoon. As per usual, there will be two teams, one designated with hiders and one with seekers. The game starts with 2 seekers and a whopping 6 hiders, with hiders joining the seeker team upon being splatted. The match will be about 6 minutes, which sounds like a lot, but 2 of those minutes are exclusively for hiders to cover as much of the map as possible and to find their hiding spot. After the 2-minute grace period and the match has officially begun, the hiders' primary damage will be reduced significantly. Subs, however, will be left alone. That is besides the fact that they will refill ink much slower than before. Though that does kind of sound like BS, it's no fun if this becomes a one-sided deathmatch, so it kind of has to be the case. We don't need the hiders overthrowing the seekers, that'd kind of defeat the purpose, I think. Also, to make it less boring for the hiders, perhaps they can play table turf battle or mess around in the lobby, just so they aren't standing around with their back to the stage for 2 minutes and doing nothing. That doesn't sound very fun. Now, I know what you're thinking, it seems like the odds are kind of stacked against the hiders. I mean, the hiders joining the seekers once splatted, that alone seems a tad OP. And it probably is, but hey, I got a few ideas to try and balance it out without completely scrapping it. Hiders will get a few buffs upon entering the match, these being instant Ninja Squid, a small speed boost, more so to counteract Ninja Squid's debuff, and the ability to potentially splat the seekers with sub-weapons. Finally, they have an extremely quick super jump back to base, though they can't jump to teammates. This is just to prevent trolling. As you'd imagine, the seekers win if all the hiders have been splatted in time, and the hiders win if they survive the 4 minutes. Alright, there you have it, some more casual game mode ideas. I definitely think a lot would need to be changed or adjusted if they were actually to be in the game, but that's why they're just ideas. They can always be improved upon and changed in the future. That being said, I do have a lot more ideas for game modes, but they're quite a bit more out there, so I thought I'd start with something that's a bit more grounded and simple. And another one that was really interesting me was designing new weapons, like completely new weapons with new designs and new concepts. I thought that would be really fun, and I've already kind of actually started a script for that one, so hopefully this video goes over at least moderately well so I can kind of justify doing that one. So if anyone's interested in that, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, you know the YouTube thing. And with that, I'll see you guys around. Bye!